Hi guys, my name's Matt with TEKCORE UK, and today we're going to have a look at the Otterbox Defender Series Case for the iPhone 5. Now this is perhaps one of the most rugged cases available on the market, but let's take a little bit of a closer look and see how well it fits on the iPhone. As we flip the packaging over, it just says it's a rugged 3-layer protective case for demanding conditions, heavy use and random accidents. So those of you that are a little bit clumsy with your iPhones, or perhaps you work outside, this is going to be the absolutely perfect option for you. So like I say, it is one of the most robust cases on the market. The downsides to having a case like this are it does add a lot of bulk, but it provides almost 360 protection for the iPhone 5. So in that case, it's definitely worth that added bulk in case you are likely to drop it or it's likely to get hit around whilst you are using it out and about. So as we take it out of the packaging, you'll see to start off with, inside we've got a little instruction booklet just explaining how to put the iPhone into the case. And it is one that takes a little bit of practice and a little bit of time. And then as we take a closer look at the case itself, we've got two main parts. We've got the main case for the iPhone, and we've also got a huge belt clip. Just taking a look at that belt clip there, you can see the case is quite thick, and obviously the belt clip does add some more thickness to it. But it does mean that you can put the iPhone in backwards and protect the screen, so you're not exposing it to anything if you are, like I say, working outside and you need that extra protection. But the clip is really strong. It's going to clip onto your belt absolutely easily with no problems at all. And like I say, it is a really strong clip. We've got buttons covering the volume buttons. We've got two cutouts on the bottom there, one for the iPhone speaker and one for the microphone. Obviously these can't be covered up because then your iPhone would basically be useless. You wouldn't be able to use it to make any calls. And there we go. So as you can see, the clip itself, it's made out of really strong plastic material. It is thick, so I don't think it's going to break at all. We've got a nice little Otterbox logo just embossed there on the clip itself. But it's relatively simple, and it provides access to all of the iPhone buttons, ports and connections when you've got the iPhone in it. And then this is the case itself. Interestingly, we do have a thin sheet of plastic covering the screen. And then over on the back there, we've got what looks to be a cutout for the Apple logo. But again, there is a thin sheet of plastic in there, so your Apple logo is going to be protected. The only cutout we've got on the back of the case is the one for the camera cutout. We've got coverings for the volume buttons. We've also got a flap covering the silencer switch as well, which is a really nice touch. And on the front of the case, we've got the cutout for the sensors and the front-facing camera at the top there. And down on the bottom, we've actually got a button which covers the home button. So like I say, you are getting almost 360 protection out of this case. Getting the case apart to put the iPhone in is a little bit tricky. To start off with, you've got to remove the softer outer layer, which isn't too difficult. You can peel that off with relative ease. And as you can see there in the video, it is coming off quite easily. You do have to be a little bit careful of the parts in the bottom, where you have got that lightning port cover. It does get a little bit stuck in the case, so you don't really want to rip it out completely. And then as you can see, we've got the two separate parts. So the plastic inner casing is connected with a series of clips running right around the outside. We've got one there on the top, we've got a couple in the corners and down on the sides as well. This is quite difficult. It's very difficult to get apart. I had to take it out of shot there to be able to just undo the first couple of clips. It is something you can do with your nail if you've got a little bit of a nail, but don't rush it. I mean, you're not going to break the case by unclipping it, but once it's on the iPhone, it is going to be one of those cases you're going to want to leave on. You're not going to want to remove it often because it is a little bit of a pain to have to undo. So to start off with, I'm going to start with the big clips in the middle there and then work my way round. There we go. So I've got a couple of the clips undone there, and then it really did just come apart. So once you've got a few undone, it is just going to fold apart with relative ease. Like I say, it is a little bit of a difficult process, but once I've done it a few times, it wasn't too difficult, so I knew what the case was going to be like. It was exactly the same with the Otterbox for the iPhone 4, but that's what made it great, and that's why we gave it such a good review on our website beforehand. So we were quite excited to have a look at the iPhone 5 one. We expected everything from Otterbox, to be honest. They're one of the premium case manufacturers of rugged cases like this one, and they definitely didn't disappoint. So putting the iPhone into the case, really easy. Pop the iPhone in and then just clip down all of those little clips around the outside there. The very last one I decided to do was the one up by the power switch. That one I had to put a little bit of force down, but it clipped in really nicely there. And the iPhone does feel really well protected. Obviously, it's not that great to hold with just that plastic covering, but as soon as we put the softer covering around on the outside, it does feel really good in the hand. I mean, it is quite thick, like I said earlier, but if you're outside and you need that added protection, you need whatever you do, you need a protective case, I think you're really going to struggle to beat this one. I mean, it's absolutely great. It retails at a really reasonable price. I think it's about $34.99 for us in the UK, about $50 for those of you in the US. And it is just great. Like I said, it's got that plastic covering the screen there, so your screen's protected, and the entire outside of your iPhone is protected. It's got drop protection, it's splash proof to a certain extent. Obviously you're not going to want to get water down in the bottom there, but because you've got that lightning port cover, you're not going to get any debris and dirt in there. And again, up on the top we've got a cover for the headphone jack, and we've got that cover for the silencer switch as well. Sorry, on the bottom there we've got the cover for the headphone jack. There we go, so we've got the buttons there that are also covered. And like I say, that flap for the silence switch. It's a great size, you can get to the silence switch really easily. And there we go, on the top we've got the button covering the sleep-wake button as well. We've just got the cutout on the front for the front-facing camera and the earpiece, and obviously there is a sensor to the left of the earpiece, which is why that shape's not quite symmetrical on the top there. They've only cut out enough for what they needed to cut out, and not cut out any additional. Down on the bottom we've got the button that covers the home button. To be honest, touching the home button was really easy. I thought maybe the added layer would make it a little bit more difficult, but it didn't at all. And then that plastic covering the screen there doesn't affect sensitivity whatsoever. I have got a screen protector on my iPhone as well, so I thought, oh, maybe the double layers might cause a bit of an issue, but not at all. The screen was just as responsive as it is with no screen covering at all. And then we've got that little plastic window there just covering the Apple logo. It's quite nice to see the Apple logo on the back. That's what a lot of cases cover up, but at the end of the day, if you've got an iPhone, some people do like to show it off, so it's quite nice to have the cutout. And then obviously we had the camera cutout up there as well for the camera, LED flash and microphone. On the back, on the bottom, there's just that Otterbox logo. And then as we flip it back round, you can just have a look. I mean, like I say, it does add a lot of thickness, it does add a lot of bulk, but it is one of the most, if not the most rugged cases for the iPhone 5. And I would have absolutely no concerns having this in my pocket or dropping it, maybe even throwing it across a room. Not going to test it for you on video, but I do trust Otterbox products, and this is absolutely great. I mean, for builders out there that like to use an iPhone, this is going to give you the most protection I think that you'll be able to find on the market. There you go, so just spinning it around there to have one final look around the outside. And like I said, it does add some bulk, but it is so protective, it's really hard not to recommend this case. Especially at the price it comes in at as well. It's worth paying a little bit extra for a case that's going to give you all-round protection, and this one really does. There we go. And obviously in the packaging as well, it came with that big belt clip. So we'll take a little closer look at that one in a minute, just to have a look at how well the iPhone fits back into it. But the Otterbox, highly recommended from us at TEKCORE UK. If you do have any questions, just pop them in the comments below and we'll be sure to answer them. Getting the iPhone out again, which is something that I was a little bit concerned about. Peeling off the rubber skin, really easy. The clips actually were probably easier to undo when the iPhone was inside. But it may have been because by that point I had already undone them a couple of times. So it's not too difficult once you've got the hang of it. Here we've got that belt clip back. So when we put the iPhone in, I would always recommend putting the iPhone in screen facing inwards. At least when it's on your belt, you're not exposing that screen to anything. I mean, it's just great. It fits really, really well. Obviously, this isn't going to be the case for everybody. This isn't going to be the case for your typical day-to-day usage. But if you do work outside, perhaps you're a builder, or perhaps you're just clumsy, this is perfect. I mean, it's really hard to criticise this case because it does everything it's advertised to do, and it does a very good job of it. So, there it is, the Otterbox Defender Series for the iPhone 5. Like I say, any questions, put them in the comments below. Find us on Twitter at TEKCORE UK, and thank you for watching.